Did you guys know that according to the World Health Organization, about 1.1 billion young adults are at risk for hearing loss? While growing up, I always wondered why I had to repeat myself once or twice to my grandfather. 2 years ago, he was diagnosed with hearing loss. Ever since that happened, it made me become eager into learning more about this disorder. As young adults, we don't truly realize the importance of hearing. Not only is it essential for us to live a full life and participate in it with our friends and family, but losing it can lead us into depression and isolation. Therefore, today you will learn more about what is hearing loss, the causes of hearing loss, early signs and symptoms, and ways to prevent it. Now, hearing loss is a complex sense that involves both the ear's ability to hear and detect sounds, and the brain's ability to interpret those sounds. There are two categories of hearing loss: sensorineural hearing loss and conductive hearing loss. Sensorineural hearing loss is when there is damage or missing hair cells in the inner ear. This type is usually permanent. Conductive hearing loss occurs when sound waves cannot reach the inner ear. Medical treatment or surgery can usually restore conductive hearing loss. Now, what causes it? A few causes are obviously exposure to loud noise, head trauma, malformation of the inner ear, and aging. Surprisingly, in an article in 2013 in New York Times, Dr. Michael D., director of otolaryngology at West Bloomfield Hospital in Michigan, recommended the use of earplugs whenever we dry our hair. At the long run, it will weaken our eardrum. In addition, a national study in 2006 by the American Speech Language Hearing Association found that users of portable devices such as our iPhones, iPods, and other things, 59% of teens and 35% of adults reported listening to high volumes of music. Some of the symptoms that hearing loss can have are, for us, early signs can be randomly talking in a high tone of voice. For example, have you ever found yourself listening to a high volume of music for a long period of time, taking your earphones off, and then trying to have a conversation with someone? That has happened to me all the time. I tend to talk in a higher tone of voice whenever I'm talking to my sister, my friends. They're always asking me to lower my voice down. Why this happens? Your ears are accustomed to the sound of that music, therefore letting you think that you are not able to be heard. You hear this buzzing sound in your ears. Another symptom is difficulty understanding the first time. As stated previously, my grandfather always asked me to repeat myself more than twice. Also, finding the need to always raise up the volume on your TVs and radios, in the car, all such things. This leads me to my fourth and very important point: prevention. Have your hearing tested, especially if you tend to be in a noisy environment, like construction workers. I always see them using protective ear plugs. Having regular tests provides an early detection of hearing loss. Protect your ears at all times. Try to have protective ear muffs when listening to music. This protects your ear by bringing the loud sound down to an acceptable level that your ear can handle. Lastly, avoid recreational risks. This is the hardest part of all. Try to avoid going to concerts that frequently. Obviously, concerts tend to have loud volumes of music, and that can damage, your eardrum. Swimming can also be hazardous. Whenever you are underwater, water goes inside your ear. Later on, it creates a liquid that turns into mucus, surrounds your eardrum, weakens it and basically eats it completely, making you lose your hearing forever. I wish my grandfather would have been more informed the way that you are now about hearing loss. What hearing loss is, the causes of hearing loss, knowing the early signs and symptoms, and ways to prevent it. Maybe then he wouldn't have to wear hearing aids in order to hear. Thank you. My name is Stephanie Serrano.